Hello everyone, welcome back to another challenge of the page Adventjs.dev. In this case, we are in front of a medium challenge, a medium level challenge, I mean. Before we get started, I have to admit that I've been practicing a little bit for this challenge. Actually, I made a video try to solve this exercise, but I basically spent almost an hour trying to solve it and I couldn't. So after that video, I was practicing a little bit behind the scenes to try to solve it. So I have a little knowledge now how to address that, but I haven't submitted the solution yet. So I will discover with you if the thing I have in my head will work. Okay? So let's read through the instructions, right? Okay, we have the Grinch has passed through Santa Claus's workshop, and what a mess he has made. He has changed the order of some packages, so shipments cannot be made. Luckily, the elf feral has detected the pattern the Grinch followed to jumble them. He has written the rules that we must follow to reorder the packages. The instructions are as follows. You will receive a string containing letters and parentheses. Every time you find a pair of parentheses, you need to reverse the content within them. Okay? So if there are nested parentheses, solve the innermost ones first. Return the resultant string with parentheses removed, but with the content correctly reversed. So, Feral has left us some examples. So, let's read the first two ones. So, the first one is a basic one, let's say. It is basically reversing what is inside of the parentheses. In this case, what is inside the parentheses or within the parentheses is the letter C and B. So the fixed packages function is in charge of reversing that particularly characters within those parentheses, right? So that's why instead of A, C, B, D, E, we have A, B, C, D, E. Okay? So this is another example, and this is a little, how can I say, harder, let's say. It's a more complex one because we have more than one pair of parentheses. So in this case, what we need to do is to try to reverse what it is within the most inner parentheses or the how can I say the most nested parentheses. In this case, we have D, E, F. So we need to reverse those characters in order to have F, E, D. So now that we have that result, we need to continue doing the same thing with the lower I think it's lower nested parentheses. Yeah, well, you as a English native speaker, you know what I mean. So we need to continue with the next one, let's say. So the next one will be BC and then FED and then H. So those characters, we need to reverse it then again. And the result will be GDEFCB. And then we have to basically replace this value in the original string. So basically should be something like this. So we have a that which remains the same, and then the reversed value over here, and then the h at the end. Okay. So as I told you, I was playing around with this exercise, so I hope I will able to solve it correctly. So the first thing I did, according to according to the tries I was doing, let's say, I created an open parenthesis variable where I will store all the indexes or indices of the open parentheses. So to find those open parentheses, we need to use a loop, right? And in that loop, we need to initialize an index, a variable called index, which will be equal to 0, and we need to increase that value. In this case, it is called as index, and we need to do that as long as the index is less than the package's length, right? So first of all, we need to somehow know if we are if in the current iteration there is an open parenthesis. So for that, we can do something like packages that index, and we need to check if that is equal to an open parenthesis, right? So if so, we need to add the current index to the open parenthesis array. So for that, we can do something like this. We need to push that value to that array. So in this case, we can either push or shift the value. So all the new word values will be at the beginning of the array. So I think I'm gonna go with the shift method. So I will explain to you, I think, why later. So the next the next if condition that we need to do or to create, let's say, is basically this one. We need to check where we are in present of um, a closing parenthesis. Okay, so if we are in a closing parenthesis, what we need to do here is, let me see if I am able to remember. Okay, first of all, let's copy our potential value of the packages. So let's imagine that our packages parent is equal to this, right? So given this loop, the first open parenthesis will be this one, and the index of that one will be, we have 0 and we have 1, right? So let's imagine that for the first occurrence of the first condition of the loop, the value of the of the above array will be 1, an array of one element, and the first element will be 1, and the second element will be the next index of the next open parenthesis. So it will be 0, 1, okay, 2, 3, and 4. So we have here 4. So as you can see, we are, let's see, shifting the array. So it's, in other words, we are pushing, let's say, the elements at the beginning of the array. So the actual array will look like this. Okay, so okay, I think that is clear. So now we need to store the index of um, of the first element of the open parenthesis. So for that, we are gonna create a start index constant, and it will be equal to open parentheses, opened parentheses, and I will un unshift the value. So whenever I do this, I am basically removing, modifying the array. So in the first iteration, let's say in the first condition met, the the this constant will be something like this. And then in the next occurrence, the constant will be something like this. Actually, I think this should be a let instead of constant because we need to modify that value. So I don't remember exactly if we can modify that value of a constant if it is an array. But just to make sure that it will work, I will transform into a let instead of a constant. Okay? So now we need to create the end index that will be, I think, the current one, right? So what I am doing this because let's imagine that when this condition is met, we will be in the index, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will be in the index 8. So we need to use the start index and the end index to positionate, I think it's positionate, or to try to identify in which position are the letters that we want to reverse. In this case, they are from the index 4 until the index 8, right? So that's why I am storing those values like this. So first of all, I have some code here that is part of the try that I did. So yeah, we need to do something, several things first. We need to know what are the letters that are between those parentheses, the open and the closed one, okay? So I'm gonna call this constant as letters between parentheses, and it will be equal to something like, let's see, packages, and it will be equal to substream, and I it will be something like okay, the start index will be the index that we saved, and the end index will be this one. Okay, so I'm gonna check quickly in the console what we get, what we are potentially getting with this code. So let's imagine that this package is this value over here, okay? And let's use substream, and I'm gonna I'm gonna pass the start index that should be the first element, and the first element is the number 4. I'm gonna pass the number 4, and then the end index will be, according to our example, will be the number 8. So this is basically what we will get. So this is not actually what we need. We need the letters that are between the parentheses, but excluding the parentheses themselves. So for that, I'm gonna use the start index and add 1 in order to get the actual letters within the parentheses. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna add 1 over here. Okay, so now we need to reverse. Yeah, we need to reverse those letters. So let's call it as reversed string. and it will be well, let's call it reversed letters. Okay, with the L with uppercase, and it will be equal to something like this. We need to use the letters between parentheses variable, and then as we don't have let's say a direct method to reverse an string, but we do have a direct method to reverse an array, we need to transform the string into an array. So for that, we can do something like this. I'm gonna use the console over here, because in that way mm, we can make sure that we are doing the expected thing, let's say. Okay, so as you can see, now we have an array, and then as we got an array, we can reverse it, because this is a valid method of an array. So when we reversed the array, we need to join it in order to um, transform it back into into a string. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna pass the separator, and the separator will be let's see, an empty string. So we will have a new string, but in this case will be reversed. So let's use this code over here. Okay, it will be something like reverse, and then we need to join it with an empty string. Okay, so now let's imagine that for this code, we will have something like this. So this will return this code. Okay, and this constant will return the reversed the reverse version of the above string, which is something like this. Okay, now for the original string, we need to replace that value, replace the letters between parentheses with the reversed letters. So let's see what we get now. Okay, so this is basically what we are looking for. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, over here, I'm gonna replace the packages value, and the packages value will be equal to packages that replace that letters between parentheses and the reversed letters. Okay, so we will be continue doing that until we round off um, until we run out of indexes, you know. So let's imagine we are in this case in the last index, because so I mean, in the first iteration, in the first occurrence of the closed parenthesis, we will get the index 8, and then the next one will be 8, 9, and 10 will be the index 9. And as we unshifted this array, the new value of it will be something like this. So our new start index will be 1, and our end index will be 10. Okay? So, okay, this is basically our new value in the in the next occurrences. So let's imagine now that, okay, the substring in this case will be equal to the end index is the index, okay? And the start index will be, in this case, 1, okay? 1 plus 1 according to this code, and the end index will be equal to index, and we said that our new index will be 10. So let's put it over here, and this is basically what we will get, okay? So these are, these are the letters between the parentheses. So the letters or the characters, because it includes the parentheses as well. So we will have BC, that is correct. We will have open parentheses and FED, which is correct. And then we will have G, which is correct. Now that we have that, we need to reverse that value. In order to reverse that value, so let's assign that to this value, to this variable, okay, and the reverse value will be now something like this, okay? So our reverse letters will be something like this. And now what we are gonna do is something like this. Let me see. Um, okay, will be will be the initial stream, okay, and this will be instead of DEF will be something like this, because this is the current value, because we already modify the innermost parentheses. So that's why I am replacing that value with F, E, and D. Okay, so now we need to replace the letters between parentheses with the reversed parentheses, something like this. So as you can see now, according to this example, our expected value given this value of the function, it is almost the same as we got as the one that we got in the above line. So the only difference is they still have parentheses, because we have H, G, G, D, E, F, D, E, F, C, B, C, B, and H. So the remaining work that we need to do is to replace all the open parentheses and all the closed parentheses. Okay, for that, I'm gonna close this block of code over here. And I'm gonna create a new constant reversed packages without parentheses. I know this is a pretty long name, but it is descriptive, let's say. Let's try if I am able to to make it shorter. I think it should be okay with now. Okay, as I said before, we need to replace all the parentheses, whether if they are opened or closed. Okay, for that, as we were constantly modifying the packages parent, we need to use that value, and then we need to replace all the open parentheses with an empty string, and then replace all the closed parentheses with an empty string. And then we need to return that value. So finger crossed, we got the solution. So let's see. Okay, it didn't work. Let's see why. Okay, I forgot to use the replace all instead of replace. So let's see now. Okay, it is not working. Let's see why. Okay. Okay. Well, that's weird. It seems it didn't work as expected. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use the previous code I had, which is pretty similar to this one. I'm gonna see if that is working. Let's see. Awesome. So I am not sure what I did different, but let's try to understand. So this is my previous code, and this is um, the code that actually worked, right? So let's see. In the second condition, we are well doing the same comparison. We are doing here the same thing. Okay. And then, okay, in the reverse string, okay, in the reverse string, we did something different. Okay, I think I know what it is. So actually, this part is the part that we missed. So instead of using letters between parentheses, okay, we need to use the actual modify value of packages, okay? And for that, yeah, I think it makes sense because we will have the modify value of it, and we will have all the letters between, for example, these others parentheses. We were using only, I mean, let me think, because this is pretty similar to this one, right? Yeah, so I think we can use the letter parentheses over here. I think it's the same thing, right? Okay, it seems we forgot to split it. Let's see if I am correct. Let's see if that worked. Okay, it doesn't work either. Now, if I use this this code over here, let's see now. Let's replace fixed packages by packages. And let's see now. Okay. I didn't understand. I don't understand what I did. What I did wrong. Okay. I mean the only difference is between these values, right? Yeah. Let me try to think, and then I will explain what was different. Well, I think I understood what I did wrong. Let's see if I am correct. So I think our initial code was almost correct. Okay. So, but in this case, we forgot to pass the empty string here, because if we have something like this, let me save this code because we will need it later. Okay, but let's imagine I have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I use a split. So if I use this separator, we will have each character in one, yeah, we will have each one character per element, in the array. You know what I mean by that? Well, you can see the differences between using an empty separator versus not using any. Okay, so this is the first differences, the difference. So the other mistake I made is basically I was modifying the initial packages, and that was a mistake because if we modify that, we can see here that it is constantly reversing the inner values. So it is reversing uh, the characters, including the parentheses, the parentheses, So when we continue iterating the loop, those conditions will fail because we are now iterating through a modified string. So for that, we need to store the the new basically as I had before, the fixed packages. We need to store the fixed packages into a new variable. So let's see if this change is enough for us to get the challenge or the test working. The tests working. Okay, let's replace packages by fixed packages and packages with fixed packages. And I think that will be enough. So let's see now what we get. Awesome. It is not working. Let's see what I missed. Okay. We have this. This is looking pretty well. Okay, reverse string. Okay, okay. Okay, we need to change the packages by the fixed packages. Let's see now. It is not working either. Let's see if I have other packages. In, okay, okay, okay. Replace. I don't know. Let's use this piece of code over here. I don't understand why it is not working. Okay. Now we have substring start in the +1 equal to an index. Okay. I am not able to see the error, to be honest. Okay. Packages length. Okay. Let me replay this piece of code over here. Let's see now. Open parentheses. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Open parentheses. Fix packages. What the fuck? Oh, okay, okay. I see now the differences. I think we need to use, instead of packages, we need to use fix packages. Let's see now. Okay. Okay, I think I got the solution, or I was able to identify what I had wrong. In this case, I was using the wrong method in the incorrect section, let's say, or part of the code. So I was using unshift with insert and new elements, and I wanted to get the first element of it, right? And then I wanted to use the unshift method to add that index to at the beginning of the index of the array. So that was my mistake. So this is basically we didn't need to create this value over here. Well, let's see, because I am not sure now. Let's replace all the fixed packages by packages, which is the original parent over here. And let's see if that is working. Awesome. So that was basically the mistake I made in my code. I was using the wrong method on yeah, the method in the wrong place. You know what I mean? So this is basically the results of it. So now I can close the console. Yeah, this is the solution. We can make it even we can make it even nicer, let's say. But yeah, our video is already too long, so I'm gonna finish now. And thank you for watching me trying to to solve these kind of exercises. I hope you enjoy the way that I am explain, or I try to explain in English, because this is not my language. So I hope you can understand why I made a lot of mistakes. So yeah, thank you, and I'm gonna see you in the next challenge that I hope it will be easier than this one. Okay, see you, bye, and take care.